I'm going to keep hammering away at Mark the Devil in Carney. So picture this. We have a man hailed as Britain's most influential Catholic. He's poised to lead Canada, and yet he's tethered to a party that's branded opposition to abortion as misogyny. He's pushed euthanasia as a fix for poverty, and he's championed policies that clash head-on with Catholic teachings. Scott Venturea is an Ottawa-based philosopher, theologian, and author. His books include Making Sense of Nonsense, Navigating Through the West's Current Quagmire. Scott, welcome to the program. How are you?
Thanks, Richard. I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Very well, very well. And we should point out the column is titled A Catholic's Caution About Mark Carney, Questions Raised About the Liberal Leader and His Party's Principles. And I'll include a link for the article in the episode notes when we publish the podcast tonight. All right, let's dive in. So how does Mark Carney reconcile his Catholic faith with leading a liberal party that, again, labels opposition to abortion as misogyny, threatens the charitable status of pro-life groups? How in any way is he a Catholic?
Yeah, I mean, I find his opportunistic use of his Catholicism is very concerning. But I think it's just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, I think we should delve into who this guy really is. I think his identity lies with a radical technocratic agenda shaped by the World Economic Forum, the United Nations, and, financial giants where, we can find probably conflicts of interest like Brookfield Asset Management, which is a major commercial property owner throughout the world. And he was there from 2020 until January this year. And apparently, I just learned this today that I haven't verified this, but Brookfield hasn't paid any taxes in 3 years in Canada. So
yeah, they've been listed as They've been listed as Canada's top tax dodger. I mean, I think, and this isn't to suggest that they're doing anything illegal, but nevertheless, the Liberals like to go after big corporations who don't pay their fair share, so to speak, and Brookfield is example numero uno. But let's get back to his moral.
Exactly, yeah.
Let's get back to his moral compass, though, if we could.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's hard to speak to his, what he personally believes, but his public persona suggests something totally radically different that's diametrically opposed to the Catholic faith. And he was heralded as, a top Catholic by the Tablet, but that's a progressive newspaper in England. So I wouldn't, put too much weight into these flattering titles that, the Tablet would offer. But I mean, there's a lot of reasons to be troubled by this man, and we can dive into the reasons behind Catholicism, or we can even dive into the Great Reset and other things that I think are, they're all linked together. And it shows like this personality that's, he's in conflict with his own Catholic faith. But not only that, I mean, he's in conflict with the sovereignty of his own country. And he's, being pictured, he's being painted as, this kind of messianic figure now. And he's the elite golden boy. He's a manufactured Canadian messiah, so to speak. I mean, his whole career unfolded within, institutions like Goldman Sachs, the Bank of Canada, the Bank of England, as we mentioned, the WEF. But he's completely divorced from the realities of average Canadians. I mean, we can mention, what happened, and I'm not sure if your listeners are familiar with what happened in the Nepean rioting.
Oh, yes, we talked about it. Yeah.
Yeah, this is, that's quite appalling. And, imagine it's like he loses this riding and somehow he still wins the election. He can't sit in Parliament technically. So
no, he'll be ruling Canada from the visitors gallery in the House of Commons. Yeah, we have talked about Nepean. Yeah. I mean, let's be honest. He hasn't stepped foot in that riding in 40 years. He hasn't a clue about anything to do. It's a safe liberal riding. It may or may not be. We'll see. But in any event, one of the things I talk a lot about on this program is medical assistance in dying. I call it medical homicide. And The United Nations recently just rapped Canada's knuckles for, I think they call it Track 2 MAID, which is basically where we're heading. We're going to extend medical assistance in dying, or euthanasia, basically, to minor children, to the mentally disabled, to the physically disabled. It is, I know this word gets thrown around a lot, but this one fits the bill. It is truly Hitlerian. And the rest of the world is aghast. Even liberal Europe is aghast by this train completely off the tracks. But this is a party that pushes euthanasia as a solution for the poor and vulnerable. I don't know. Give me your thoughts about that.
Yeah, I see this as part of this agenda. I don't know how to see, the gender ideology and MAID and abortion apart from, and this might sound conspiratorial, but it's like population control. Mm-hmm. This is at its the pinnacle, at the worst of the worst, right? And we're becoming the example throughout the world of, the radicalness of, not just MAID, but gender ideology and abortion. And yeah, it's truly appalling. And, that he is able to flaunt his, his Catholic faith around conveniently, to gather points with the faithful. That's why I wrote the article that I wrote, is to expose him. And initially I actually published another article. It's a little bit lengthier than the one in the Catholic Register. It was published with Catholic Insight. Got a smaller readership. But, truly appalling. It contradicts everything in Catholic anthropology. It's a desecration of the image and likeness of God. It's just the antithesis. This represents like the anti-Christian model is what it is. And and that's just like one thing with Mark Carney. There's so much more, right? And
I know one barely knows where to begin with this character. He is so sinister, and his ideas are so sinister. Let's for example talk about his apparent admiration. Here we go again, a basic admiration for communist China, as reflected in liberal policies. How does that square with the Catholic Church's historical opposition to oppressive regimes? These clowns over there in communist China harvest the organs of political dissidents. This is who he's cozying up to.
Well, it runs contrary to so many Catholic values. He even suggested that the Chinese yuan could serve as a global reserve currency. That's just absolutely ridiculous. And the whole fact that China's got this massive surveillance state, this is, I think, the direction we're going to be headed towards. It's like a loss of moral conscience. If you have wrong think or wrong speak, it's like you're liable to, have points deducted from your social credit score. It goes against every moral principle within Catholicism. It's unconscionable, but, he's a big fan of everything centralization. He hates Bitcoin. And the mere suggestion, it's beyond appalling that the Chinese yuan should serve as a global reserve currency. But, he believes in the rule of experts, often bypassing deliberate messiness of democracy. We saw that in his rise, right? And, and we can even look at the Chiang Tai scandal that just happened, that unfolded a few days ago. He didn't even ask Paul Chiang to step down.
No.
What does that say? He's a shill for communist China? It goes on and on. And, if any harm comes to the Tay, Carney and the Liberals may have to bear some moral and even legal responsibility. But, it's just completely appalling. And, the fact that this MP Chiang joked around about this, and he can't even forcefully remove him from his as a member of Parliament. And this guy calls himself a Catholic. It's just unbelievable, is what it is. And we're just scratching the surface at this point too. But
yeah. It's a long list. For example, Carney supporting policies that promote gender ideology, the sterilization of children. Obviously that has to be a direct contradiction with church teachings on human dignity, for example.
Absolutely. I just wrote an article about this in Crisis Magazine. It's a Catholic publication in the U.S. It was about gender ideology, and I was trying to get at the roots of it. And then you have to get into the Frankfurt School and postmodernism and some of the radical feminism. It's actually infected the sciences. And unfortunately, it's infected a lot of the, the Catholic school boards throughout our nation and throughout the Western world. Again, it completely goes against Catholic anthropology. And, this gender ideology issue, interestingly enough, it hits even home. His own daughter received treatment at the discredited Tavistock Gender Clinic in the UK. Shuttered now.
That's right.
She identifies as non-binary and promotes gender ideology. And, Carney, obviously, he remains silent on the issue publicly. But, the silence, again, it's telling. If he becomes if he wins this election, he's already, an elected prime minister. How will, the beliefs of his daughter come to influence him in national policy?
Well,
in the mere fact that
it just shows. It also demonstrates. It also just demonstrates horrible parental judgment that he would put his daughter in harm's way that way. We just have a couple minutes here.
Yes.
Sorry, Scott. We just have a couple minutes. I just wanted to sort of, in summing up. Christianity is clearly under attack in this country. We have over 100 churches now, Christian places of worship that have been desecrated, firebombed by crazed left-wing domestic terrorists, I will call them, and the liberals shrug it off. It's understandable, this anger, they say. How do you, as a Christian, feel, as a Catholic Christian, how do you feel about the prospect of another 4 years, another 10 years of liberal rule, particularly under Mark Carney? Do you feel confident as a Christian in this country that your rights will be protected, that you will be allowed to worship freely?
Well, absolutely not. I think that things are just going to be accelerated from the Trudeau years. It's going to go into steroid motion now because, Mark Carney is the real deal. He is the globalist in chief. He is, in my estimation, he is an anti-Christian figure. He likes to refer to Laudato Si with climate change and whatnot, but everything else, he supports a party that supports abortion, MAID, gender ideology. Not to mention, it's like he was calling the trucker convoy seditious, and he was calling for the freezing of their bank accounts and the Emergencies Act behind the scenes. So, he has no respect for our moral conscience. He has no respect for Catholic anthropology. I think we're going to be in for a rough ride for the next 4 years. And there's a lot of Catholics that are just totally unaware of this. And this is why I'm trying to spread the word as far as possible. But, we just have to stay steadfast and pray.
Absolutely.
I don't know. We can just inform others before this election, but God have mercy on Canada. That's for sure.
Well put. Well put. Will God please have mercy on Canada? Scott Venturea is an Ottawa-based philosopher, theologian, and the author of Making Sense of Nonsense, Navigating Through the West's Current Quagmire. Scott, great to meet you. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time. Great article.
Likewise. Thank you.